This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a brand new segment where I highlight current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures celebrating the best athletics our valley has to offer. The Flathead Valley Sports Haven is powered by Logan Health. I'm your host, Cole Havens, and today in studio I am joined by former Montana Tech and Whitefish High School kicker Ryder Barinowski. Ryder, thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah, thanks, Cole, for having me. Appreciate you always, man.
Perfect. Well, let's get this thing started off with, obviously, from Whitefish High School to Montana Tech, being a collegiate athlete and everything. Let's just start off, first of all, what's it like to be a college athlete?
Yeah, man, it's exciting. It's a lot of opportunity. It's pretty cool. I'm super blessed to have the experience at a college level and have the ability to play at a college level. I've met a lot of amazing coaches and mentors through it, and I'm just so blessed to have the opportunity to be able to play college sports.
How about go through maybe some highlights from your early season at Tech and maybe those last couple of years at Whitefish that kind of shaped you into the athlete you are right now?
Well, I mean, starting at Whitefish, man, that I became who I am at Whitefish with the coaches. You know, I think the amazing thing of the experience I had at Whitefish is I was a person before a player. I'll always take that. You know, and it's just such a special experience. I couldn't ask for a better community and fans and support and family lifting me up there, and I'm just so thankful. I mean, people like you just complimenting me almost every time I see you. It's like, oh man, I can't take that for granted at all. But, you know, just being in 4 sports, I guess, in high school, 3 my senior year and junior year, it was just, you know, developed of who I was as not only an athlete, but becoming a man. And I think, you know, I really was able to look up to so many people, not only coaches, but teammates and even teachers and, you know, even people to the front office ladies. And it's like, you know, that's just such an amazing thing to have. And not everybody gets to have that. I talked to, you know, some of my former players in college, and it's like, you know, we kind of had an all right high school experience, and a lot of them say I'm stuck in high school, and I'm like, man, I'm not stuck in high school. Like, you can give me that label, but I just had such a good experience. I always make the joke, if I could get my COVID year for high school back, I'm going back 100 times out of 100. So I think, you know, I just can't say enough good things about Whitefish. I could talk about that community all day. But yeah, just in short, man, just amazing place to grow up. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else, born and raised, so, and attending high school. Moving on to Montana Tech, man, I had a great 2 years there, obviously in the transfer portal now, but I have nothing good things to say about Montana Tech. You know, the coaches, other great mentors there, really look up to those guys, and we put together a couple good seasons there. We were able to make it to the second round of the playoffs my first year, which was awesome, and then all the way to the third round, having an undefeated season. I think we were 12, 13-0, and, you know, that was super special. Great group of guys, and, yeah, just nothing but good things to say. Really developed who I am and just, you know, mentally and physically as a player, so that was just such an amazing experience as well.
2 things. You just kind of touched on it, but Flathead Valley Sports, what was it like to play football at Whitefish? One, how did that shape you? And then the community aspect. What's it like now to come back and kind of be a member of that community and kind of see it from that side of things? Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's funny. Like, when I graduated high school, I was like, shoot, man, like, I don't have Whitefish anymore. And that was a total false statement. I feel Whitefish every day. It's honestly, you know, I had a thing in college above my bed. It just said, put on for your city, that kind of statement. It's like, I love representing Whitefish and just because of what Whitefish has done for me. And I think some people think it's cringy, like I said, the stuck in high school saying or whatever it might be. And I'm just like, you know, man, I couldn't ask for better support. So I got like, I have this burden on me kind of that I put on myself. It's like, man, I got to represent for Whitefish because that's what's gotten me here is the community. And I've gotten a lot of accolades and stuff, but none of that is my name. I know my name is on it, but in my mind, there's so many people that have poured into me and invested in me. And so I've been so blessed with that and just the community aspect. I mean, couldn't talk about that enough, dude. It's like, you know, I don't even need my name to be known. It's like, even if I was just a person in the community, I'd feel so loved and just, I got nothing but good things to say about Whitefish. So I'm just so blessed, and I carry that with me everywhere I go. That's a motivation for me every day. And I know there's this stereotype too. It's like, I get this a lot. It's like, oh, he's from Whitefish, you know, like he was handed everything. He's a rich kid. And so that's also a little bit of a motivation. I'll never fire back at anybody for saying that, you know, I'll just laugh it off. But it's like, all right, like you think I can't work hard and stuff? I'm going to be the hardest worker in the room every time. And just, you know, that's just also what I've gotten from Whitefish and people like Bullwig and Roach and Gonzalez and Coach Smith. And it's just like, yeah, so it's taught me a lot, and it's really made me who I am in such a positive way.
That's awesome. How about, did you expect to contribute as early as you did at Montana Tech?
I mean, part of the reason I did commit there was because I thought I could, get some playing time freshman year. So I was very blessed with that opportunity. And obviously the coaches presented me that opportunity, and super thankful for them for taking a chance on me and seeing the potential in me. So, I wasn't sure going into it. I had the confidence in myself, but I didn't know what that would look like, especially going from high school. It was a little weird. Being a multiple sport athlete, and then you're doing one sport now, and everything's going into that. So it was a little different, especially too, not playing receiver and safety, just being a kicker. It was definitely a change, but I don't know. I wasn't super sure, but I did think I could get some playing time for part of the reason I committed there. So it was nice to contribute in that way.
At what point did you know that kicking was a viable option at the next level? At what point did you say to yourself, "Hey, I can do this at a higher level"?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in high school, I'd say after I got my first offer was actually Montana Tech, and so in kind of my first interest. So that was like amazing for me. I remember the exact time I got the call and where I was, and I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like I just got a college offer. This is crazy." And I think, at the beginning, I knew I wanted to play college football ever since the beginning of my junior year, after I'd gotten my first offer. And then senior season rolled around, and I kind of had the question of, okay, should I had a couple offers to play wide receiver, and it was a hard debate, like, hey, should I play receiver or should I kick? Obviously, my mom was like, you're kicking for sure. You're not getting hit anymore, 100%. So, I think part of the reason was for that. And I did notice my potential. I think I had a little more potential at the next level in kicking, and I kind of knew what I was doing a little more. But yeah, it was definitely like a shocker for me to be like, oh my gosh, this is a thing past high school. So I'd say after my junior season, or right before, like, after sophomore season, you could say, kind of that summer going into junior year, I was like, all right, this might be an option if I keep working hard at it.
And you had the added benefit of you got to work with a professional kicker, an NFL kicker, former Baltimore Ravens kicker, Matt Stover. Take me through that experience. What was that like? What did you learn, and how much did that help you?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big help for sure. I can't deny it. I think having him, he's a guy, of course, that's not only a coach for me, but I view him more as a mentor, just because he's poured into me so much away from football, and I think that's such an amazing thing, and I'm super blessed to have that. But yeah, it's super special. It's helped me a lot. I will never turn down an NFL kicker for advice, especially like a 22-year NFL
especially a dude
vet.
At one point had multiple field goal records.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's just really taken it past that level of, okay, it's not just a kick. I look at the mental side of it now and all the stuff you got to do off the field to get ready for the game. And so he's really opened my eyes to that, and it's been awesome. And I think, at the end of the day, too, I've always said it because, I get you got an NFL kicker, like you're going all the way. That's all you need. I'm like, no, man, like I still got to put in the work. Don't worry. Like it's not that easy. But yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, and I couldn't ask for a better person in my life to be mentoring in the kicking phase.
Well, it definitely paid off because in your freshman season, I know you were primarily responsible for kickoffs, and you had some big numbers. You led the NAI in kickoff distance, averaging, 62.5 yards per kickoff, 42 touchbacks on 82 attempts, and over 5,000 total kickoff yards. You also set a school record with 10 touchbacks in a single game. I know PATs is something you're striving to get more too, but at the same time, you were also named Freshman of the Year that year. So obviously the tutelage under an NFL quarterback did pay off.
Yeah. I mean, I got to give a lot of credit to the offense for scoring a lot of touchdowns on that. I couldn't do it without them and the whole team. So like I said, I just had so much support around me. I never felt a lot of pressure or I got to do this. It was more of I get to do this. And that's just because of the community I had around me, not only in Whitefish, but in Butte too. I mean, I got to give a shout out to Butte, amazing people there. But yeah, it was fun. It was kind of, I wanted to make sure I had an ego check because after getting those accolades, I wanted to make sure I wasn't like, I'm the guy around campus. I'm this, I'm that. It's like, no, man, you're just a person among other people. And so I tried to, that was really a good test for me just to see like, okay, you get a little award, like, who are you? Is that going to define you? It's like, no, man, like, you got to keep working. You got to keep your head down. And I think that's what I was super proud of was, you know, I was able to back up some of those stats my sophomore year too. Unfortunately, they didn't release any kickoff statistics, so I'm pretty sure I led in those two because I had 56 touchbacks this year, so it was like 14 more, and then I had like a 67.4 average for kickoff. So it was, you know, I don't care about the accolades and stuff, but it was cool just to see, you know, I think for me,
to be recognized.
Yeah, exactly. And just see the work kind of pay off because, you know, it's been a lot of time and effort putting into kicking, which is kind of, you'd be like, oh, kicking, it doesn't need that much work, but oh my gosh, man, it's been a lot. So it was really cool to just be like, wow, this is amazing. And just again to see, you know, when I came back, I remember after my freshman year for winter break, like it was like an eruption in Whitefish, man. Everybody was talking like to me and coming up to me, and I was like, oh my, like I am just so blessed. And I was like, I just wish people would understand it's not me who earned this award. Like it says Ryder Barinowski on the award, but it's not. Like I wish it would just say Community of Whitefish and View almost, you know. So I mean that's just, you know, that's just how I was kind of raised. And I don't know. I've always appreciated the people around me. It's never been just me getting something. There's been so many people who have helped me, and I'm more than grateful for all those people.
That's awesome. That mindset's going to take you a long ways in life too. Give me a little insight before we get into your next steps and everything. Give me a little insight into kicking in general, kind of your mindset before a kickoff or kicking under pressure. How do you prepare for that type of thing? Because obviously, we all know, it's physical, but as a kicker, the spotlight's on you and you're maybe kicking once a game, especially field goals type of thing. So what's your mindset like? When you're in that game, how are you staying focused, and what do you do to prepare for that?
Yeah, well, I think my dad always says this thing, it's preparation leads to confidence, and I think I've always believed that, and I've never let that get to an egotistical or cocky phase. I don't really express myself. I don't celebrate a lot. That's just never who I've been, but, you know, I think, like you said, a lot of it's mental, and, you know, I have little nicks and nannies I do, like, for example, on a game-winning kick, if I'm ever in that situation or when I'm in that situation, I always shift the pressure. It's not, oh, I have to make this game-winning kick. I always shift it to the defense has to block my kick. The pressure's all on them. You know, I'm going to make it, but the pressure's on the defense. So it's just little things like that. And, you know, I view your mind as a muscle. You got to train it like you're working out. And so that's a big thing for me. And I think as a kicker, you know, you see linebackers and stuff like, oh, I'm going to go kill somebody every play. You can't really be that if you get too high. I mean, you're going to mess up a kick pretty bad. Or if you get too low, like, oh, I just missed one.
It's like baseball almost, right? In a sense, that mentality.
Yeah. And it's like a lot of people relate it to golf, actually. Yeah. So that's kind of how I view it. I've read a lot of books just on the mental part of what it takes, and not just kicking in general, but being an athlete. So I think that's pretty big, and training your mind and just being calm. Matt Stover told me, you know, you're a sniper out there. You got to act like a sniper. You know, when you got to be ready to take that shot, you got to breathe in, breathe out. And it's little things like that, just, you know, breathing methods or whatever it might be, just to anything I can do to be ready for that game day kick.
That's awesome. Well, and now, obviously a standout at Whitefish, standout at Montana Tech for 2 years, and now you've entered the transfer portal.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us any insight into maybe where you're looking to go?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm open to anywhere. I'm talking to some FCS and FBS schools, few FBS schools. You know, I'll say I'm looking at the Grizzer Cats too, just for the Montana fans. Got to put that out there. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's kind of, you know, it's been a little bit of a weird experience, not in a negative way at all, but just seeing like, oh, I was in high school 2 years ago doing this. Like, this is crazy. It's kind of the same thing over again. So it's pretty, I am blessed to be in this position and have the opportunity to go to the next level, but it's been super cool. So
you're listening to the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, powered by Logan Health. We'll be back after this quick timeout as we continue on with former Montana Tech and Whitefish High School kicker Ryder Barinowski.
Is pain or weakness holding you back? When the pain cramps your lifestyle, consider joint replacement. At Logan Health Orthopedics, their total joint program provides proper education, support, and guidance during your journey. Orthopedic nurse navigators walk you through the entire process, from decision to recovery. Their surgeons use the latest technology to get you back to activity quickly with less pain and fewer restrictions. Visit logan.org/ortho to learn more. Get back to what you love with Logan Health Orthopedics.
Back from the break here on the Flathead Valley Sports Haven as we continue on with Ryder Barinowski. Okay, Ryder, from a sports fan standpoint, can you take us through what is the transfer portal like? What does it all entail? Like, what's a daily I guess, discussion, or what are you doing on a daily basis in the transfer portal?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of not physically taxing. You're not working out all the time. You know, it's a lot of, I'd call it mental in a sense, because you're kind of on your phone texting coaches all the time. So it's definitely different, you know, reaching out and a lot of phone calls and stuff with coaches and just seeing what's available, learning about programs. And, you know, me looking at transferring this next spring semester within the next 3 weeks, hopefully. It's kind of crazy to think about, thinking about high school. I had, 2 years kind of to decide where I wanted to go to college. And now
3 weeks.
Now it's 3 weeks, but I mean, you know, it's a good opportunity, so I'm super thankful for it. But yeah, it's, you know, you're waking up, and I try to wake up early because I figured that's when a lot of coaches are on their phone. So I'm getting up sometimes 6 a.m, hitting some emails, hitting some calls. So it's pretty fun. You know, it's definitely different. Me being an NAI athlete was a little different too, because NCAA athletes, they have a specific block they can transfer in. So I've kind of gotten a little step ahead there. So that's super cool. But yeah, it is different. It's funny too, seeing all the coaching changes, because I never realized how much a coaching staff changes in college football. Because at Montana Tech, we had all the same coaches. We didn't add or subtract any coaches from my freshman to sophomore year, which also, I mean, huge shout out to them.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing. Not a lot of staff are doing that in the whole country at any level. So that just shows what they got going on there, which is awesome. But yeah, it is kind of crazy seeing like tracking coaches and like, oh, this coach just went here, but wait, he just took another job somewhere else. What is going on? So that part's kind of funny to see and like keeping up with them. But yeah, I mean, it's a little hectic, but it's a good busy for sure. That's what I'd call it.
Can you give insight into like your checklist? What are you looking for with whatever program you decide? What's going to make or break that decision?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the community there, I really value that. I think, you know, just having such a blessed community in Whitefish and also experiencing that in Butte, that's a super big thing. I know, you know, all of life isn't just football, and unfortunately I can't play till I'm 70 years old. I wish I could.
Gotta enjoy where you're at.
Exactly. The body's going to start tearing down. But yeah, I mean, definitely on the football aspect, a spot to just come in and compete at all positions. I think, you know, I know nothing is given, everything is earned, so I firmly believe that. So just being able to come in for a starting spot, I do have my redshirt years still too, which is an advantage, and I don't know if I use that or not. It depends what program I commit to, so we'll see about that if I'm kicking right away or not. Hopefully I am. That's the goal. But yeah, it's also the academic part. You know, I know academics are super important, and Butte had a great reputation there, so I want to carry that on for sure. And I know my parents really value that, which I think is great, and I definitely do too. So I've taken
shout out Dad and Mom.
Yep, exactly. So, and you know, I think just a faith-based place too. I think, you know, I definitely trust in God to where He's going to take me, and that's a big part of it. So yeah, a lot of factors, but there's a lot of amazing schools out there.
So community, obviously kickoff specialist, but a chance to compete for field goals and PATs. Obviously, yeah, education. What about climate? Are you privy to warm weather, cold weather, East Coast, South, North? Does that matter at all?
Yeah, I mean, not to me particularly. I think I kicked in Butte, so it was cold and windy. You know, we got it all at once, and so I think, you know, that doesn't stir me away. I think I kind of strive for that sometimes too. I'm like, I know I can be a bad weather kicker in a sense, and that's where I can kind of take my game above others. But I mean, you know, then again, you look at the flip side. You're in California and it's 70 degrees all the time. It's like, oh man, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. But you know, I don't care at all. I'm not too picky on that either way. If it's windy or cold, I'm used to it. Being a Montana kid, you know, I did it all throughout high school and college so far, so that has no effect on me.
So almost cold weather then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yep.
Well, obviously, to be able to go to Whitefish, to be able to go to Tech, you're in the portal now, to possibly play at the next level and everything. Take me through some advice you would give to maybe some younger Flathead Valley athletes who even want to play varsity athletics. As you know, not even the majority get to play varsity athletics. But what would be your biggest advice to maybe that 7th or 8th grader that wants to be at the varsity level, or to that varsity level athlete that wants to play at that next level? Yeah,
I'd say the first thing, it's not even really sports related, but it's root yourself in the community. I think I was able to do that at a young age, and my dad helped me. I mean, he had a lot of connections. I think he knows half the town, I'm pretty sure, which is crazy. I don't know how he does it. But yeah, just like, I mean, little things like waking up and going to school every day, and you're in first period and you're saying hi to your teacher, and it's like you're saying hi to the front office ladies, and it's just that little smile. I think that adds so much more motivation to your game. It has for me, so I think that's a big part. But I mean, get into the athletic side, it's just, you know, a lot of people call it, oh, it's grinding every day. It's grinding. But I think, one thing Coach Bolwick taught me in football is, hey, man, this isn't a grind. Like, this is what you got to do. This is life right here. And it's like, you know what? You're right. There's people who are just begging every day just to be able to wake up and play their sport. So I think taking advantages of all the opportunities you have is huge, whether that's little things like getting some extra work in at the end of the day, hitting the gym again, it's just little things like that. And I'd say surround yourself with good people. I had an amazing class with me, my seniors, and then some guys I looked up to who are older than me, and even some, I know you've had Cole Moses on here a lot. That kid is a stud, man. He was such a leader even when I was a senior, and he is a sophomore. So surrounding yourself with good people who are going to lift you up and push you harder is awesome. And there's no better place to do that than Whitefish, especially with the coaches, what they preach and teach you.
Talk to me about that. I think that was a really good point of it's almost the mindset of I get to do this rather than I have to do this, right? It's almost putting yourself in that mode of like, this is a blessing to get to do this, not a I have to do this. And how has, talk to me about coaching, both Bolwig and Coach Sampson, because they kind of preach a similar message. How has that really helped you, having those two head coaches, and what do those two say to you even to this day?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing they both start off with is just a lot of positivity. It's like, I know at Tech they preached it a lot. You get to do this. It's not, I have to wake up for football. It's like, no, man, you get the opportunity to be a part of Montana Tech, to go, 12-0 and make history. And I think, that's such a special part, especially when you're in mid-season or you're at the end of the season in playoffs and you're like, oh man, like I just want to move on to basketball. I want to get to track or whatever it might be. It's like, no, man, like a lot of people, you really take it for granted sometimes. I even try to, I just try to wake up and be grateful for what I have. That's one thing I've always tried to practice, is just naming 5 grateful things that I'm grateful for. And it's like, that just kind of sets your mindset. I think your mindset is so important in a sport. Physically you can only go so far with, without your mind, you got nothing. So
your body gives out before your mind does.
Exactly, it does. It's just like the weight room, man. It's how you view it. If you walk in there on a Monday and it's like, oh, it's Monday, it's going to be a rough day, you've already set the tone. So I think just knowing where you are, I think, I had a good friend of mine tell me be where your feet are at too this year. And I think that's a super important piece, being in the present, not worrying about the future or what's happened in the past. It's like, man, you get the present right now. And what are you going to do with it? You're going to make the most of it. So I think that piece is very important.
How about, too, I want to talk about being an NAIA athlete, being maybe not at the FCS level, at the BSCS level. Obviously, there to this day, there's still a little bit of a stigma that goes to playing a D3, a D2, and NAIA. But that stigma seems to be changing, where it's going from that, I have to go to the NAIA to I get to go to the NAIA. I don't care what level you're at. If you're a college athlete, only 5% of high school athletes play collegiately at any level. Take me through, what do you like about seeing maybe that stigma of playing at a Tech, at a Western, at a Winthrop College, at a Chadron State? It seems like that's flipping in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately a lot of people look down on NAI just because it's not affiliated with NCAA. But I mean, I remember when I was looking at Tech, they beat my senior season at Whitefish, they beat one of the top teams in D2 football that ended up going to the championship that year. And they killed them pretty good. And it's like, it just doesn't have the respect it does. I think, like you said, slowly that is coming back, which I think is awesome. But I always say the term, like, if you can ball, you can ball, so they'll find you if you can. And I think, NAI is a sweet spot. I know we talked about this earlier. It's kind of where a lot of high school athletes are shifting towards, especially in like the Montanas and Dakotas and Idahos, just because there's not as many JUCOs, I know. And I know there's kind of some weird rules involving like eligibility and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, NAI, it's super sweet. It's a great way to come out of high school if you're not the most, I wasn't one of the top recruits and, I thought I should have been and all this, and I felt like I was a little overlooked, but it's like, all right, I'm going to go prove it in NAI, and I think, that's a sweet opportunity to have for sure.
And then how about the Whitefish pipeline here? In the last several years, we've seen many athletes from Whitefish go to Tech. Obviously, Western, I know they're a rival at Tech, but still you want to see Whitefish athletes going on. Carroll College, who's always been in the forefront here in Montana. What's it like to see this Whitefish pipeline seemingly growing year after year?
Yeah. It was funny. I remember senior year of track, we're riding on the bus back from state, and I'm looking around at just our senior class specifically. Obviously, there's younger athletes who are going to go far in college, but I was looking at our senior class and I'm like, oh my gosh, Whitefish is just producing athletes. And obviously, a lot of us weren't going for track, but it was super cool to look around and be like Whitefish is really expanding. And I think unfortunately, too, I think Whitefish is looked down upon a little bit for sports. I'm not really sure why. I think that's changing.
It's
I'm
just
sure,
a stigma that's always been around.
Yeah, and, I think, a lot of that is praise to the coaching that we have at Whitefish, which is amazing. But it's so cool just to see, like you said, obviously this year Western was our rivals, but I got to see, Carson Gulick and Scotty Dalen playing over there for our first game. And, that was so special. I'll always support a Whitefish kid no matter where he goes. And I think it's super cool just to see, like, when we come back together, when we're seeing each other working out or, hanging out, it's like, it's just cool to see everybody's different stories. And it's cool to see some of the kids who, debated playing college. They didn't really know. They didn't know if they were good enough. And it's like, no, man, you are good enough. Don't let yourself get down just because, people say you're from Whitefish. And I think, that's the whole characteristic, too, of, oh, he never had to work hard, like he's going to fail in college because he's from Whitefish. Nothing's going to be given to him. He doesn't have, his dad giving him everything.
Yeah,
so I
the
think
stigma.
Yeah, exactly, right there, man. So I think it's cool just to see not only so many Whitefish athletes in college just playing their sports, but actually succeeding, and it's just so amazing. I mean, we got some high-level athletes too, and I know there's a couple athletes who have hit the portal and they're finding success at other places. So that's awesome to see.
How about to see the likes of a Finn Ridgway, who's a Whitefish athlete, a Dylan Bottner, both playing for the Montana Grizz. Maybe we'll have 3 Whitefish athletes on the Grizz here soon if things go well with you. But to see even guys, and I mean even before them, a Jolly Rigetti back in the early 2000s who had the talent to go play for a Grizz. Like to see Whitefish guys even on the Grizz is pretty special.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I think, knowing who those guys are, I didn't know Dylan Bottner super well. I was never with him in high school, but I've heard amazing stories. I've met him a couple times. He gave me a speech in high school, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, Finn Ridgway, just an amazing leader. That's a guy I've always looked up to, and just how he carries himself off the field, I think, is even more important just as a faith-based man, and that's awesome to see. It's cool to see. I know those guys are at that level, and they always have been, so it's cool to see, especially, when there might be some times where there's adversity. Like I know Finn, he came out of high school, he wanted to be a quarterback, and he went to Minnesota, became a running back, and now he's a safety at the Grizz. I mean, you don't see too many people who are versatile like that can do that and keep their head up, and he's doing a great job at that, so props to him. So it's awesome to see, just, relating that back to high school too. Like, man, this kid was such a leader for me. I wanted to be like him, and now, I was able to hopefully affect people in that way too.
Well, and then, so we know transfer portal for you. We know football, obviously, you're going to play 2, 3, maybe things go well and you get a shot to go pro, but take me through maybe those next steps for you, football and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, if opportunity presents itself after college, I'll definitely look into that. I think it's pretty cool. I think, aside from football, I ran track at Tech, and I retired from track. I think I'm done with that, unfortunately, man. Sorry, Mr. Roach, but I just want to be able to affect my community in a positive way. And I think, back to the whole faith thing, I'm really trusting in God to kind of lead me in wherever I go after college. I think it's hard, definitely looking past college and be like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this, because it's hard for me just because I'm not exactly sure where my next college is right now. And I know I have goals in my mind of what I want to do no matter where I'm at, that are all positive, not just football-wise too. So I think, I'll see what happens, but I'm going to push as hard as I can, man, and put the work in every day to get to where I want to be. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to try to, be about it and, walk the walk. So I think that's where I'm at, and I'll just see what happens, but I'll keep working for it for sure.
So in a sense, just living in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's not like, I got no plans after college. No, I got, I got a plan A and all of it set out if some things don't work. But I think, right now I'm going to work towards what I want and see what happens after, all the work and with college. So, yep.
Perfect, Ryder. Well, I know everyone at Whitefish is wishing you nothing but the best. I know I'm wishing you nothing but the best. And yeah, I can't wait to see where you're kicking next year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. I'll be representing Whitefish wherever I go. So
perfect. Well, thank you for joining me. Thanks for coming on. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cole. I always appreciate you.